Welcome to Project Burn It with Mrs. Longera. That is me. All right, so we know that restaurants are now required to post nutritional information for the food that they serve. This includes the number of calories for each food item. But what does calories even mean? Do we understand it fully when we purchase these foods? That's the big question today that we're going to be looking at. Before we begin the math, let's actually discuss what a calorie is. A calorie is a unit of measurement, not like length or weight, but a unit of energy. So if something has 100 calories, this is describing how much energy your body would get from eating or drinking it. Our bodies need calories to have the energy to get through our days. So for you, school, homework, sports, chores, friends, family, dance, and anything else that you do throughout your day. I'm sure that you have heard adults say that they are watching their calories in hopes of shedding a few pounds. You can see here, got some pounds being shed. But most kids, they don't need to do this. But that doesn't mean that they shouldn't make smart, healthy choices when choosing what to eat and drink. What is even more important is that if we consume more calories than we burn, then that's what causes us to gain weight, become overweight, and possibly obese. One of the problems that we have here in the United States. Here you can see your input needs to match your output. So food in, exercise is your out. There must be a balance between the two. So in your notebooks, I want you to write this question down right there. If LeBron James were to eat a Big Mac extra value meal, supersized, because he's a big guy, before a game, do you think he could burn all those calories off during the game? 1,180 calories is for the regular meal, but for the supersized Big Mac meal, we're looking at 1,330 calories. And he will play for 48 minutes if he plays the whole game. Usually he doesn't, but for this situation, we will assume that he does play the entire game. What we'll be looking at and using as our final project for this lesson is asking what if fast food restaurants rewrote their nutritional menus using the amount of exercise that would be needed to burn those calories instead of putting in the calories. And asking yourself, do you think this would provide consumers with enough concern for their health in a way that seeing the calories on that menu doesn't? So in this lesson, we're going to be using the unit rates and proportional reasoning to determine how long we would have to exercise to burn off different fast food meal items. So when you exercise, the number of calories that you burn depends on two things: body weight and the type of exercise. And we will be using these two things, that's 1 and 2, to use as our calculations. So I'm going to take you through the math. It's pretty simple, so after I go through it, you'll be able to do it on your own fairly easily. So to begin, we're going to look at different exercises, and you'll see something like this. For instance, with tennis. What this is saying is you will burn 61 thousandths of a calorie per 1 pound of body weight playing tennis. So this is how you would calculate how many calories a person who, say, is 123 pounds would burn in 1 minute playing tennis. So we'll start 0.061 calories. That means per 1 pound. We multiply this by the weight of our person, which is 123 pounds. And that would be what we would get per minute playing tennis. Equals, and we redo the problem, per 1 pound. And then we can remove the brackets because we're going to put that there. And we're going to cross out these pounds because they cancel each other out, and then that'll make our math less complicating. So we end up with 7.503 calories per minute playing tennis. And I'm going to actually round that 7.503 to 7.5. Okay, so here is all the calories for 2 different meals that you would find at McDonald's. We have the double quarter pounder at 780 calories just for the sandwich. Big Mac, 540. Here's the fries and the Cokes. And then we have our different meals right here. So this is what we're going to use when we're trying to figure out how many minutes it would take to burn off the calories for the meals playing tennis. All right, so I set up this little T-chart. We know that we're using 7.5 calories per minute. We have on the left side our double quarter pounder, and on the right side we have our Big Mac. So if we're looking at just the double quarter pounder sandwich at 780 calories, we would simply take 780 and divide it by 7.5, and we end up with 104. That means 104 minutes. Now, if we look at the meal at 1,320, we divide that by 7.5, and we end up with 176. Then, if we want to supersize it, we're at 1,570. Again, we're dividing by the 7.5 right here. Calories per minute equals 209. And this is all minutes playing tennis to burn off these things. So 104 minutes is about 1.7 hours. The 209 is about 3.5 hours. So now let's look at the Big Mac. We're going to go 540 for just the sandwich. Again, we are looking at the same person who weighs 123 pounds. Divide it by 7.5, and we get 72. Then if we look at just the meal, or not just the meal, the whole meal, divide by 7.5, we get 144. Then we want to supersize it, so 1,330 calories for the total supersized meal. We end up with 177 minutes. So if we look at that 177 minutes, you're about 3 hours. So you would have to play tennis for 3 hours to burn off that supersized meal. Okay, so I've gone ahead and transferred over the minutes needed to burn the calories for our double quarter pounder, the meal, and supersized, and the same thing with the Big Mac. Now I'm going to say, what if somebody ate these meals 3 times a week? How many minutes would they have to work out per week? So what you do is you just take those minutes needed for each one and you multiply it by 3. We'll look at the double quarter pounder. We end up with 312. And this comes out to 5.2 hours. Now let's look at if we supersize it. We get 209 multiplied by 3. We come up with 627 minutes. And that equals about 10 and a half to 11 hours, somewhere around there. That's a lot. That's working out that many times, that long for that week to burn off those calories. I don't even work out 2 hours, not even 1 hour. So let's look at Big Mac. Multiply it by 372 minutes, we get 216 minutes. We look at supersize, 177 minutes, we end up at 531. So 216, we're roughly about 4 hours. And 531, we're almost 9 hours. So those people who eat fast food 3 times, sometimes more per week, sometimes more than once a day, and are not working out, they are not balancing their input and output, and that's what causes them to gain weight. Okay, so now that you've seen all that, and we've gone through how to determine how long you would have to play tennis to burn off calories, I'm going to take you through walking, calculating it, just the calculating the calories burned per minute based on weight. And we'll just use 123 again. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to look at walking, and it's the 19 thousandths of a calorie per 1 pound of body weight. So we will go ahead and start with our 0.019 calories per 1 pound, multiply by 123 pounds, and we end up with 0.019 over 1 pound, 123 pounds over 1. Then we're going to cross out our pounds, and then we simply multiply across, and we end up with, it is 2.3 calories per minute. And what this means is that walking, weighing 123 pounds, we would burn 2.3 calories per minute. So that is the end of today's lesson. I look forward to seeing you in the morning. And if you need to go through any of this math, remember you can just rewind this video, take you to the beginning, and do it again. Bye-bye.